Daniel here for Tabletop for One and my top 10 list of the games that I've had the most fun with this year. And thank you for joining me tonight. Now, the last week or so, I've been having a real difficult time with my depression and anxiety. Even though I've been getting, help for it, it's just, I don't know what it is about the last week or two, but I've just been struggling. And I have games that, I've played throughout this year that have really helped me out of my depression and given me, some joy and some relief from the darkness. And so I want to talk about those games. I have a top 10 list of them. Now, all of these games are new to me games that I played this year, and some of them are review games. And so I'll highlight those first. Those will be on the bottom of the list because I don't want to show giving preference to those over the others on the list. But these are games that really actually helped me through this depression, giving me some fun and joy in the midst of the darkness. And I just want to highlight these here. And so at number 10, I have Lords of Vaala. Now, Lords of Vaala is this fantasy war game that takes place in the Dragonbond series, and it's this really interesting game of trying to not only conquer the board and win over the generals, but there are also dragons on the board that are fighting for control and trying to gain power. And you can actually bond with the dragons and then go for a joint victory in the end of the game. Now, in the solo mode, it's a very challenging AI that takes over the board quickly and tries to compete with those goals of gaining the most Vaala magic power. I think I've only won once. It's so challenging. I only won by bonding with the dragon. And so this game here was, like I said, a review copy, and I didn't even know anything about it when I tried it, but when I made the tutorial solo playthrough for it, I had such a great time doing so. It was so much fun. It took me away. It helped me escape, and just, I got totally engrossed by the gameplay and the theme. And so at number 9, I have Genshin Tarot. Now, Genshin Tarot was also a review copy of a game, and they sent it to me. I had no idea of anything about this and didn't even play the Genshin game, the video game that they have for it. And what this turns out to be is a boss battler where you draft 4 heroes that have different abilities, and you have it's kind of like a pre-built deck of abilities that you can upgrade throughout the game. You fight a bunch of minions, and you work your way through the waves of minions until you get to the point of being able to reveal the boss, and you reveal the boss and fight this boss in a big boss battle. I love it. Yeah, I love this game so much. I had so much fun with it every time I play with it. I've beaten the first 2 bosses. I haven't beat the 3rd boss yet, but I just enjoyed the gameplay so much. It's just such a blast to play. I love boss battler games. After all, I have, Bullet Hard and Marvel Champions and other games like that, Sentinels of the Multiverse. I love boss battling games, and this one's no exception. This one provided me with just this great joy and a ton of fun. And it was during the time when my depression got really bad when I first played this game. And I remember it just relieving me from it. And so I greatly appreciate it. Now, the fact is that I can't recommend it too much. And the reason why is it's super expensive. Now, it is well produced. It is very well produced. It has foil cards and has nice components and a nice box insert and all that stuff, but it's too expensive. I think it's $100 to $160. And unless you've got money to spend, I wouldn't recommend it. But nevertheless, this was one of my top 10 experiences of the year, one of the games that brought me from my depression and helped me have some joy during the year. And so now we're moving on to my last review copy. And this is one of the games that I have talked about as being one of the most important games that has ever been designed. And that is Stonewall Uprising. The Stonewall Uprising takes place in the 60s, 70s, and 80s during the gay rights movement, the LGBTQ movement of that time. And in the solo mode, you play the pride against the man, and you're trying to gain systemic, public, and individual support for the gay rights movement. Meanwhile, the man is trying to fight against that, locking up and demoralizing your supporters and fighting you for that support in the different areas. Now, this turns out to be one of my favorite deck builders of all time. I love how this deck building works. it works so well, and it's also thematic, and you got these tracks that you're moving up and down, vying for control over those tracks. This is gonna fight for my top favorite deck builder of all time. My current top favorite is Baseball Highlights, but this is right up there with it. I don't know which one's gonna come out on top. We'll see, but I love this game. It is great. I love the theme. It is important to me. Anyways, I can't recommend this one enough. But once again, this is a little pricey. You're coming in at $70 and it's only available in the US as far as I know. So there is a little barrier to the cost of entry there, and I apologize about recommending a game that's so expensive. All right, so the rest of these games are not review copies. I've purchased these for myself, so take that into consideration. But this game here took me by surprise. All right, I've had, a love-hate relationship with deck builders, and this game, I wasn't sure about it when I got it because I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna give it a shot. But I saw somebody post about it on the Facebook group, and it looked like it was a lot of fun, so I decided to get it, and I've enjoyed every bit of it, and that is My Little Pony, the deck building game. Now, you may be wondering, what are you talking about? It's My Little Pony, right? Well, here's the thing. Like, I have a little bit of nostalgia here because I watched My Little Pony when I was a kid and very much enjoyed the show. I love the bright colors. I love the crisis management in this game. Now, this game has an absolute horrible rulebook. I'm sorry. The rulebook is not that great. And it was a very big struggle to try and teach the game after having to read those rules. But I did do a tutorial solo playthrough for it, and I loved playing the game. It was just very refreshing. It's a light deck builder. There's not a huge amount of strategy to it, but the cards are fun to play. The little flavor text on the cards are great. Even one of the cards that that I played in the tutorial solo playthrough has you beatbox to get a bonus. And so I had to, or maybe it was rap some tunes. I forget what it was, but I did that in the tutorial solo playthrough. Yeah, I really did. But anyways, I've had a blast with this game. I've got a couple of expansions, and there's just a ton of content, and I just love this game. Now, it's not like a 10 out of 10 game. It's not going to be a contender for, solo game of the year. It's more like a 7.5 out of 10, but yeah, it's just provided me with a lot of joy. All right, so now we're moving on to number 6. Now this one I just wasn't sure about, but it was the designers for this game that made me want to buy it and try it out. Because I have 2 of their other games, and one of them is actually going to show up on this list later. But this is Santa Maria. Santa Maria is this interesting kind of economic game, well, basically it's a colonization game, so the theme's not the greatest theme there. But basically, you're trying to build out your colony, send some resources back to your home country. I really don't care about the theme, but the gameplay itself has this combo-tastic gameplay for the solo mode that is so much fun and so rewarding. So you have a limited number of rounds to play the game, but you have as many turns as you're able to afford to play turns and have dice to use. And so this game rewards action efficiency. It rewards you being good at managing your resources and maximizing all your actions to the best ability so that you get all sorts of bonuses and keep your turn going. On top of that, as you ship out goods and gain these bonuses, you gain bonuses to income that help propel that and make the future rounds even more efficient. There's just so much fun packed into this game. And the designers of this game also designed the Magnificent and the last game on my list here. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, they have this understanding of how to make a player's turn feel fun and powerful, and it's just a lot of fun. And this one has definitely provided me with some relief from the darker times, giving me some joy during the gameplay, and I've just loved every play of it. It's an older game too, it just came out of nowhere. I think I paid like $20 for it and just have had so much fun with it. All right, so the next one is another surprise. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, and that is Resurgence by Stan Kordonsky. Now, Resurgence is this bag building, kind of worker placement game where you're trying to survive kind of post-apocalyptic scenario. You have mutants that are thwarting your plans and getting in the way. but you're trying to build out your base, gather resources, and accomplish various goals. This game mechanically is just so much fun. The theme is okay, it doesn't come through the best in the gameplay, and the AI is pretty decent. It serves as a blocking AI, and it does compete with you as far as scoring at the end of the game. But the gameplay itself, like I said, mechanically, it works so well, and it's so enjoyable. The bag building is fun. The extra actions back at your base that you can do to help augment your strategy and everything that you want to do, it's great. You have these contracts that you want to complete and that sort of thing. It's just a lot of fun. And I was very surprised by how much fun I've had with this game. And it really reinforces the idea that I enjoy bag building games. And I definitely need to add more to my collection. All right, so the next game that's new to me, it's not a new game. I think it's a year or two old. But this one here kind of took me by surprise. And I have since called this an essential solo game. I think every solo gamer should have it. It basically takes the roll and write, genre and takes it back to the board, making it a flip and play game. That's what I call it. But that's the Guild of Merchant Explorers. Now, the Guild of Merchant Explorers is this great little game of exploration and trying to, explore across the map and build villages so you can explore further the next turn. It has this great mechanic of flipping over a card and tells you what kind of lands you can explore and how many. And then you get these new abilities that let you explore further. And you have these goals that you have to go for, or else you won't score as high. Now, it is a beat your own score solo game, but it's very challenging, very fun, easy to play, easy to table. It's just a blast. I have to tell you, it's just so much fun. It's so rewarding when you play. You always feel like you're accomplishing so much every turn. There's different maps and different setups, variable setups. There's also an expansion, which I don't have yet. I need to get that because I love this game. I can't recommend it enough. It was a big surprise to me because it looks bland. The colors are kind of muted. And I thought, nah, I'm not gonna like this game. And then when I played it, I was like, what? Wow, this is crazy. But yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Like I said, I think it's an essential solo game. All right, so the next three here are very important games because the next three are contenders for the top solo games of the year, top solo games published in 2023. Now, one of the games was released at Essen last year, but it didn't reach the States until this year. But all three of these games I consider published here in the States this year. And yeah, they're all contenders for the top spot, not just for the top 10. They will be in the top 10 solo games of the year. Sorry. A little spoiler there, but these are contenders for the top spot of this list. And so it was really, really hard to figure out which one's going to be third, second, or first, even on this list, because I kind of want them all at the top. All right, they're that good. But the third place is going to go to Wild Child West. All right, so Wild Child West took me by surprise. I have to tell you, I wasn't ready for this one. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you right now. I pre-ordered it just to play on my channel, just to give you a tutorial. That was the only reason why I pre-ordered it. I did not think I would like this game. I thought a lot of people would pre-order it because it's a Paul Dennen game. He designed Dune Imperium. And so I thought a lot of people would be picking this up. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to pre-order it so I can provide a tutorial solo playthrough. That way I can help you enjoy the game. Well, what did I find out? I enjoyed this game so much. I can tell you that this is my favorite polyomino game in my collection. I love this game so much. And I think the one reason why this is it doesn't have you trying to fill out the board. I guess I don't like that constrictiveness of other games. I think that's one of the reasons why I sold Planet Unknown, is because it constricts you on placement because you're always trying to fill out the board or else you don't score that well. In this game, it's different. Not only do you not fill out the board, but you have different areas to go for and different goals to go for. You have these citizen cards that tell you different ways to, strategize and get points. But you also have on each of the boards a flip side that is an asymmetric type board that gives you a new icon to deal with and different rules to score. And it's fantastic. Now you'll say Planet Unknown had those things as well. It had other sides of boards. But this one's so freeform. It feels more like a sandbox game. Now, it may feel restrictive by, the tiles that you can choose on the drafting board, but I never felt constricted by that. And even with the roll of the dice, something I thought I would not like in this game, I ended up liking. There's just so much to say about this game. This game is contender for solo game of the year, so obviously makes this list for me as one of the top games that I've had fun with, that has helped me escape, my depression and anxiety and given me some relief. This has been up there. On top of this, they released a campaign. See, Dire Wolf, the publishers, they have these app-supported games. Normally, I don't like that. I don't like having my cell phone at the table. It's distracting. And so I make an exception here with Dire Wolf, because not only do they provide like the Dune Imperium AI, but for Wild Wild West, they have a campaign that really adds to the replayability of this game. And it's great. I can't recommend this enough. This is a game of the year material, but we'll see if it makes it to that top spot on that list. Now, moving on. This is such a hard choice. And so I'm going to bring them both out at the same time because they're such excellent games. And I'll talk about both of them and I'll make a decision at the end because I haven't decided yet which one is going to take that top spot. And so let's see if I can set them up on top here. Oranienburger Kanal and Revive. Okay, both of these games are so satisfying. It is so hard to choose between these two. I don't know which one to choose. I really don't. I may choose one just because of aesthetics. That may be the deciding factor between these two. See, Oranienburger Kanal has this great, it's kind of like a city building, industrial building theme where you're managing resources and you're building these buildings in this grid, and you're trying to cover the borders with paths, railroads, canals, and then you're also building these bridges over the paths and stuff. And when you trigger the buildings and you get these influx of resources and points, it's so satisfying. And it's a very challenging game, trying to maximize those resources and trigger the buildings at the right time to score really high. But the game, this is a Kickstarter. It came with multiple expansions. And so the replayability is through the roof because you have these decks of cards that you're gonna have of buildings that do different things. Each expansion is different. Each expansion has their own, challenges and ways to play the game. And oh man, there's so much to this game. It's so fantastic. But then you have Revive. Now, Revive's theme is that, civilization has died off and they're re-emerging from this chasm after 5,000 years or something like that. And you're trying to rebuild your civilization. And it has this interesting deck building where you have these cards that you can slot in on the top or on the bottom, and they do whatever's on the top or on the bottom depending on how you slot them. And each slot has these bonuses that can get you more resources. You can spend resources to explore out on the map. You can activate your machine, that you unlock different areas on your machine to do different things. This is one of those games where it has this combo-tastic nature to it. See, you only have 20 actions and different things cost different, amount of actions or time. And so you're trying to maximize how many, actions you get per turn. You have these bonuses actions that you can do. And so Revive really takes Santa Maria, ups it a notch, has this very satisfying nature to the game because when you first play the game, you're going to score low. Like you score 70 or 80. Yes, that is low. Then the next play, all of a sudden you're scoring 110. Then the next play, 130. Then the next play, 170. And you keep scoring higher and you're like, wow, when is this gonna, when am I gonna reach a cap? I've heard people scoring almost 300 points in this game. It is a beat your own score solo game, but the gameplay is so fun, so satisfying that you just enjoy every moment of the game. And like, there's different factions that have different skill trees. Oh man, there's so much to this game. So both these games, high replayability, so satisfying. Revive's even got a new expansion. I don't have that yet, but I'm looking forward to picking that up as well. Oh man, I don't know which one to choose. Okay, for this video, this is not a predictor for, solo game of the year when I get to that video, but for this video, I am only picking based on aesthetics, and that goes to Revive. Revive is beautiful. The board is beautiful. The faction boards are beautiful. The cards, well, the cards aren't so beautiful, but the game itself looks fantastic on the table. This one, I'm not a big fan of the colors, just not, and some of the iconography is, small, the words are small. So this one loses on aesthetics. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Revive on aesthetics. Yeah, and it might just provide just a tad bit more fun. I'm not sure which I've played more though, honestly. All right, I've said enough there. And so there you have it. That was my top 10 list of games that have provided the most fun. These are the games that have provided me the most relief throughout the year from my depression and my anxiety. But I highly recommend all these games. They provide such fantastic, fun experiences and varied experiences. These are all different kinds of games. They really are. And I love every bit of them. So let me know in the comments below the top games that help you, that give you that fun factor, that give you that relief. I know a lot of you, and I'm so sorry, I know a lot of you suffer from anxiety and depression, and I know that you use this hobby to gain some relief from that. I want you to know that you're not alone. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, and I hate the fact that some of you suffer from it as well. But I hope you do find relief in the games, maybe some of the games here or games that you have. Let me know what those games are. I'd love to hear from you. Maybe I need to add those to my collection as well. Please also like and subscribe to this channel if you like the content you see here. And I thank you very much for joining me on Tabletop for One. Have a great night.